Hey guys, it's Paul with Freedom Gorilla, and today we're going to cover the ACSS Vulcan Reticle and all the optics that are made with the ACSS Vulcan Reticle. And we are going to explain what it is, why it's cool, and why you might want it. And just as a reminder, all the optics we cover in this video are available at the best price with free shipping at the link below and at our website, freedomgorilla.com. So if you haven't heard of the ACSS Vulcan Reticle, it is a reticle designed by Primary Arms, and there's a collaboration with Holosun where they feature the ACSS Vulcan Reticle on the 507K ACSS Vulcan, 507C ACSS Vulcan, and 509 ACSS Vulcan. So we're going to explain why this reticle is so cool, how it can help and benefit you, how to use it, what it looks like, and basically just let you know that it's pretty dang cool and we're super happy it exists. So let's get right into it. All right, so what is the ACSS Vulcan Reticle on a pistol optic? It's a very large outer ring, and then it's a either dot or a chevron in the center. So if you're not used to this, you may be wondering what it looks like in person. So let me tell you. So the way that the reticle actually works is the large outer ring shouldn't really be visible when you have the dot centered. Now, if you're new to pistol red dot shooting, what you will find is one of the first things that happens when you go to look at your red dot is you may not see the dot at all. And so this happens to almost everybody, and you have to practice with it so that you can find the dot. Now, the ACSS Vulcan Reticle helps you find the dot. It's almost like an aim assist. So the simplest way to describe it is when you need to adjust your grip to find the dot, you'll see the large outer ring. And because you see that large outer ring, you'll know where to adjust your grip to find the dot. So if you see the top ring, you'll know that you need to adjust your hand upwards. And if you see the left side of the ring, you'll know that you need to adjust your hand to the left. If you see the right, to the right. To the bottom, you need to adjust down. So it's pretty cool and pretty intuitive, and it's like an aim assist. It gives you an extra point of reference to find the dot. And now there's two versions of the reticle. The 507K has a dotted outer ring, and it has a 3 MOA center dot. And the ACSS Vulcan 507C and the 509 have a solid outer ring, and then in the center they have a chevron. So the chevron is really cool actually. So the chevron has a couple benefits. It has a half MOA tip, so that's the most precise aiming point that you could have in a pistol red dot. But then the top and the bottom of the chevron is where your bullet would hit at 100 yards on a 9mm pistol. So who would use the ACSS Vulcan Reticle? Well, the cool thing about it is the ACSS Vulcan Reticle applies to anyone. It applies to beginners, it applies to experienced shooters, it applies to competitive shooters. And I'll explain to you how each group benefits from this. So you might be a total pro, and you might say, I don't need the ACSS Vulcan Reticle because I could find the dot no matter what. All right, I got you. I'm going to explain a little bit how this can help you still. Now, if you're a beginner, as I said, the first time you go to draw that pistol with the red dot on it, you're going to have difficulty finding the dot. And this will instantly help you find the dot. So it's great for practicing how to find the dot and getting that muscle memory down pat. So now let's say you're pretty good at finding the dot, or let's say you're a master at finding the dot. How is this going to benefit you? Well, the way that it will benefit you is because you might be a master at finding the dot, but there's going to be 2 or 3 situations in which this will still benefit you. So the first situation would be if you ever are in a high stress situation and you really do need to draw that weapon, right? If you're in a high stress environment, you might not find the dot. You hope you would, but you might not. So that extra ring gives you that added point of reference so you can find the dot in that high stress situation. The other way would be if you're in a situation where you have to shoot with your non-dominant hand, where maybe you gotta shoot with your left hand instead of your right hand. And in that case, you're probably not going to be that great at finding the dot with your non-dominant hand. Another situation could be if you need to lean, if you have to lean around corners or do something like that, right? When you do that, things get a little different, right? Or maybe you're on your side. Maybe you're literally laying on your side. So for those specific reasons, that extra outer ring will help you find the dot in those situations. Okay, let's say you're a competitive shooter, and let's say you do steel matches and stuff like that. Now, the benefit of the ACSS Vulcan Reticle for you is those things I just mentioned about leaning or shooting with your non-dominant hand, things like that. You don't have to waste any time finding the dot because you have that extra failsafe to find the dot quickly with the ring. But the 10 MOA chevron, if you get that version, that's going to give you the most precise aiming point. So you may already use a 1 MOA dot, you may use a 3 MOA dot, you may use a 6 MOA dot. It's your preference. But if you ever wanted the most precise aiming point, the tip of that chevron is 1/2 MOA. So on a pistol red dot, that is the most precise aiming point you can get. The full chevron is 10 MOA. So you still have that large reticle. And then the last thing is if you were doing some kind of competitive match, that bottom of that chevron acts as that bullet drop compensator, so that could help you hit targets at distance if you ever needed to. So the ACSS Vulcan Reticle is awesome. It's one of the most popular selling reticles on the market, and we really love it. I think it's a genius idea. And there are some other benefits that I will share really quickly. So some people do say that the 10 MOA chevron does help with their astigmatism. I'm not going to say that everyone says that because some people say it doesn't help them, but some people do say it helps them. And I think the reason is because it's very thin, so it's not a dot, it's just a line. It's 2 lines. So I think because it's 2 lines, it's somehow just helps some people with their astigmatism. So now I will just tell you the optics that the ACSS Vulcan Reticle comes in, and I have them all right in front of me. So the ACSS Vulcan comes in a 507K, okay, so that'll be for micro compact pistols with either an RMSC or K series footprint. If you do have an RMSC footprint, you will need to get an adapter plate, which we have on our website. But now the 507K has a 230 MOA dotted outer ring, and it has a 3 MOA dot in the center. It does come in red or green. The next one is going to be the 507C ACSS Vulcan. This has an RMR footprint, and this has a 250 MOA outer ring and a 10 MOA chevron. Now, this also comes in red or green reticles. The next option is going to be a closed emitter option, and it's the 509 ACSS Vulcan. The 509 ACSS Vulcan comes in the red 10 MOA chevron configuration, and it has 2 versions. You could get one with an RMR clamping mount on the bottom, or you can get one that comes with a Glock MOS plate on the bottom. So you can get this with either, like I said, the RMR footprint or the Glock MOS footprint. Now the last one is actually just from Primary Arms themselves. This is the RS15, and the ACSS Vulcan Reticle in this is actually a 250 MOA outer ring with a 3 MOA dot in the middle. And this one has a Seymour footprint, but this will also fit directly on a SIG P320 slide or SIG P226 slide that has the Romeo 1 Pro cut. And then just so you know, all the ACSS Vulcan reticles do have the ability to turn off the outer ring if you wanted. So I should mention, one of the only kind of downsides is it does hog up your battery life a little bit more. So you're looking at more around like 10 to 20,000 hours on the Holosun optics, and on that Primary Arms optic, you're gonna get 1 to 5,000 hours, which that one's not great, but the Holosun optics, the battery life is still pretty good on them. And if you were to turn off that large outer ring, that will increase the battery life as well, but that also defeats the purpose. So still battery life is very good on the Holosun ACSS Vulcan optics, but it's just something to know that it is a little bit more of a battery hog than, let's say, a 407C or something like that. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. We hope that you found it useful. If you have any questions, please let us know. Leave a comment. We'd love to hear what your experience is with the ACSS Vulcan. I'm sure it's going to be filled with people that absolutely love it because it really is a reticle that you will enjoy a lot once you get it. And as always, these optics are available at the best price with free shipping at freedomgorilla.com and in the link below. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Stay awesome. Have a good one.